Hello everyone, my name is David. Today we are going to take a look at another real story with you. Nowadays, it has become quite common for people to live together without getting married. And because of this, many stories have surfaced where live-in couples end up in violent fights. They harm or even kill each other. And there are many such stories where people in live-in relationships become so violent and frustrated with each other that they go to extreme lengths. But today's story goes beyond all of that. It is about how jealousy or obsessive love can drive someone to such low actions. If you're curious to know what happens in this video, be sure to watch until the end and stay tuned. This is the story of a girl named Pooja from Delhi, and she falls in love with a boy named Jitendra. This happened in 2018, and by the end of that year, she was deeply in love with him. Now, in 2019, Pooja tells Jitendra that he should marry her, but Jitendra reveals that he is already married and has a 6-year-old son. However, Pooja loved Jitendra so much that it didn't bother her that he was married and had a child. So, Pooja tells Jitendra, "It doesn't matter if you're married, you can still marry me. Just divorce your first wife." Jitendra agrees and tells Pooja, "All right, I'll divorce my wife and then marry you." Then Pooja says, "Okay, as a guarantee, you can marry me quietly. We won't tell anyone and can live together as husband and wife." Jitendra also agreed to this because he loved Pooja deeply. He was so immersed in love that he agreed they could quietly get married. So, in September 2019, they got married at a temple in Delhi. They kept their love going for a year and got married again in the following year, 2019. At this point, Pooja said they should start living together. Jitendra agreed, saying, "Yes, you're right. We should live together." So they found a room to rent and moved in together. People didn't know they were married. They assumed they were living together. Jitendra had distanced himself from his first wife and rarely spoke to her, but he would occasionally visit her and their son. This situation deeply upset Pooja, and she would get very angry about it. She'd say, "Now that you're married to me, why do you still go to your first wife?" Jitendra reply, "We got married in secret, and no one knows you're my wife. But until I divorce my first wife, I have to visit her because if I don't, she'll start suspecting me. And if she finds out about our marriage, things will get complicated. Until I divorce her, no one, neither the court nor our families, will recognize our marriage." Pooja also understood that until he divorced his first wife, she wouldn't be recognized as his wife, so she would urge him, divorce her soon. To this, Jitendra would assure her, "I will divorce her soon." Now, both of them were spending their lives together in their marital home very happily. They stayed together, went out, ate and drank, and had a lot of fun. They had gotten married, and then came 2020. With time, the lockdown happened, and everyone's life came to a standstill. Jitendra hadn't divorced his first wife. Then 2021 came, and during the lockdown, Jitendra and Pooja continued to live together. During this time, they came to know each other's flaws, virtues, and shortcomings. They also had arguments, and in anger, Pooja would tell Jitendra, "You still haven't divorced your first wife, and now I don't want to hear any more excuses. Just divorce her and acknowledge me as your wife in front of the whole world." So Jitendra would often say, "It's fine, I'll divorce her." But Pooja and Jitendra started fighting a lot over this. Pooja would insist that he divorce his first wife, but Jitendra would brush it off, saying, "It's fine, I'll get the divorce." Yet he hadn't filed any divorce papers, which made Pooja extremely angry. This led to more frequent and intense arguments between Jitendra and Pooja. Then, at the end of 2022, Jitendra left Pooja and went back to his first wife and son. When Pooja found out, she felt deeply hurt because she believed Jitendra had betrayed her. She thought that after all this time together, after marrying her and promising to divorce his first wife, he had done nothing of the sort and had instead gone back to the first wife. when he had talked about divorcing her. And Pooja couldn't do anything. She couldn't go to court, nor could she go to his house, because she knew that if she went to court, how would she proceed? The marriage she had was illegal because Jitendra was already married before. There's no place for a second marriage in court unless the husband either divorces his first wife or she passes away. Now Jitendra was living with his first wife and son. He had moved to Delhi with them, rented a house, and started living there. Pooja would occasionally talk to him, but he had already decided that he would not divorce his wife. This was probably a shock for Pooja because Jitendra had now fallen out of love with her, and that's why he did this. He said that he would now live his whole life with his first wife and son because, while living with Pooja, he had come to realize the good qualities of his first wife. Pooja was extremely angry about the fact that he couldn't leave her. She kept saying that he had promised to leave his first wife and divorce her, but now he was doing the opposite. Pooja's anger had escalated, and she wanted to do something to Jitendra that would give her a sense of satisfaction and make her feel that she had taken her revenge on him. By 2023, Jitendra was still living with his first wife and son, and he and Pooja were no longer even talking because their differences had grown so vast that they didn't want to communicate with each other. Pooja had no idea where Jitendra was with his wife, but a common friend of theirs knew where Jitendra was living in Delhi with his first wife and son. Then, on August 10th, 2023, Pooja got Jitendra's address from a common friend. Pooja asked this common friend about Jitendra's work schedule and who stays at his house. The friend informed her that Jitendra leaves for work and returns at 7 p.m., while his wife goes out in the afternoon and returns by 6 p.m. In the meantime, their son stays home alone. So Pooja went to Jitendra's house at 3 p.m. that day. When she arrived in front of the house, she saw that the door was open. Upon entering, she saw Jitendra's 10-year-old son, Divyanshu, asleep. She approached him and strangled him with both hands until she was sure he had stopped breathing. Once she was certain Divyanshu was dead, she began thinking about how to leave the house without being noticed. She was worried that if she left through the front door, a neighbor might see her and raise suspicion, or someone might notice the open door and check the house. And then she lifted Divyanshu's body and placed it on the ground. The bed where Divyanshu had been lying was a box bed. She opened the bed's compartment and saw that many clothes were stored inside. She took the clothes out and cleared some space. Once there was enough space, he lifted Divyanshu's body and placed it inside the bed, covered it with a few clothes, and then closed the bed. She put the remaining clothes on top of the bed and quietly left the place. It was 5 p.m. by then, and Divyanshu's mother was waiting for her son's call. Divyanshu used to go to a music class every day, and that day too his mother had called him at 2 p.m., telling him to finish his nap since he had to leave for music class soon. Every time Divyanshu left for his music class, he would call his mother at exactly 5 p.m. to let her know that he was leaving. This reassured his mother that her son was safe and on his way to class. But that day, Divyanshu didn't call his mother. His mother became very worried and said that it was never like this before, that my son didn't call me. She thought, all right, he's a child. He must have slept for a while. Let's go home and check. When she got home, she saw that Divyanshu was not there, and the clothes that were inside the bed were scattered on the bed. She wondered why these clothes were outside and why all the winter clothes were there. His mother thought maybe her son had been up to some mischief and was looking for something, so he had taken out all the clothes and put them outside. Still, he was nowhere to be found. Then she asked the neighbors if they had seen Divyanshu, but they said they hadn't seen him. She also called the music school he used to go to, but they said he wasn't there today. She became extremely worried and terrified, wondering where her son could have gone. His mother wondered what he was searching in the bed. When she opened the bed and saw the clothes on the body of Divyanshu, she was terrified to find her son and began screaming loudly. Hearing this, everyone in the neighborhood came over. At first, they thought the child might unconscious. When they got him outside, his mother believed he had regained consciousness, so they quickly took him to the nearest government hospital. However, when the doctors examined him, they realized he was already dead. The doctor noticed finger marks around his neck, indicating he had been strangled. The doctor then called the police from the hospital, reporting a murder case, with a woman bringing in her child who was unconscious but had already died, and there were signs of strangulation. Upon hearing this, the police arrived immediately, and then, when the police arrived there, they conducted an autopsy, and the report revealed that he had been killed. The police then filed a case and started the investigation. However, none of the neighbors had seen anyone coming into or leaving the house. The police noticed that there were CCTV cameras in front of the house, so they checked the footage. They saw a girl entering and then leaving the house, but no one else had come or gone. Only his mother came afterward. The police showed the video of the girl to the family, and Jitendra identified her as Pooja. The police asked Jitendra how he knew Pooja and who she was. At that moment, Jitendra received a call, and a girl on the line said, "I have taken my revenge. I have taken away the most precious thing from you." Jitendra reported this to the police. When the police checked the number, it was switched off. The police then learned that Pooja was involved, so they went to her house and asked her relatives and neighbors, but no one knew where Pooja was. This was in August, and now September had arrived with no leads. The police were tracking Pooja's location using CCTV cameras. After checking around 300 cameras, they finally spotted Pooja in one of them. The police went to the location, apprehended Pooja, and questioned her. She confessed that she had killed Jitendra's son. She admitted to the crime, saying she wanted revenge because he had abandoned her for his son and wife. She claimed that if it weren't for his son, he would have divorced his wife and married her, staying with her forever. He was the reason why he didn't consider me as his wife and why he wouldn't leave his first wife. And if his son wasn't around, he would leave his first wife and come back to me. So I thought about this, and that's why I killed his son. What could I do? If the son wasn't there, Jitendra wouldn't be able to stay with his first wife either. The police arrested Pooja and put her in jail without any mistake of the child. She didn't even think about what fault the child had. Neither the child nor his father had a wife or a girlfriend with whom he had married. The child and his mother were not at fault because they didn't know what kind of husband and father he was. Due to Jitendra's mistake, a mother lost her son, and such people commit huge crimes without even thinking. If people would think before committing a crime and consider the devastation it causes to children, women, man, or themselves, many crimes would be reduced. But before committing crimes, people don't think at all. They become blind and deaf, unable to hear or see anything. They only do what comes to their mind and what they think is right at that moment. So this was today's story. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. We hope you enjoyed the content and found it valuable.